welcome to Yoga for Everyday People. In this episode we'll continue our exploration of how to maintain a healthy back, rocking the pelvis and segmental mobility by exploring a lovely sequence from the Drew Yoga School known as Energy Block Release number 1. But before we begin our exploration of that sequence, I just wanted to cover a little bit more simple anatomy. So in previous episodes we very much focused on how to rock the pelvis back and forth, which was fantastic. And we also looked at flexion, so like a round in the back, and what happens to the spine when we round the back, and also spinal extension, what happens when we bend backwards. To maintain a healthy back, the spine needs to be taken through all its range of movements. So as well as forward flexion and spinal extension, and can you see what's happening to the vertebral bodies and the intervertebral discs as we extend forward and extend backwards? It also needs to have a lateral flexion, that's a side bend. And there's also rotation as well, so the vertebrae rotate to a certain extent. Okay, whilst we keep the pelvis square. So what I particularly like about Energy Block Release number 1 is that it's designed to take the spine and the back through its whole range of motions that we've just discussed. So it's a great little sequence for that, for maintaining a healthy back, for maintaining a healthy spine, for bringing energy into the body. And because it's called Energy Block Release, it's an energy block release, it also releases energy that is blocked in the body in various places. So we look forward to seeing you in a moment. We're now going to look at Energy Block Release number 1, and as you can see, Ben and I are both started standing up. I'm going to show a modification for those of you who find standing up a little bit challenging. We can do it in a chair. But before I sit in the chair, I just want to talk us through the foundation pose of yoga known as the mountain pose. So Ben will stand facing you and you will have a side view of myself. So to begin with, we begin with the feet. And we want to check that the feet are hip width apart. So the easiest way to measure hip width is to place the heel of one foot into the instep of the other. Come up onto the ball of that foot and pivot on the ball and allow the feet to be parallel and the toes to be parallel to the top of the mat, to the front of the mat. If having the feet parallel causes you any type of discomfort in any of the joints and you're more used to splaying the feet away a little bit, then please go for that option rather than trying to keep them parallel. So as we work from the feet, we want to check that the ankles, the knees and the hips are all aligned with each other. And then we want to make sure that the pelvis is in neutral. So a couple of episodes ago we looked at rocking the pelvis standing up in the wonderful winding book area. So we're going to look at that again to find out where neutral position is. My lovely friend Saraswati Karuna, usually I ask people to visualize they have a bowl of water in their pelvis, but Saraswati Karuna has used the visualization of a golden fluid, which I think is much nicer. So we'll use the same visualization, a golden fluid, and we want to make sure that that golden fluid rests in the pelvic basin and when none of it's spilling back or forward. So we're going to begin with the knees slightly bent and placing the hands on the hips, and we're just going to begin to rock the pelvis by taking the tailbone towards the navel and taking the tailbone up towards the base of the head. Tailbone towards the navel and tailbone to the base of the head. Now when the tailbone goes back, we notice that the pelvic basin, that golden fluid, spills out from the front, okay, at your end of range. So make a note of that end of range. And then when we tilt the tailbone under, so we're rocking the pelvis backwards, the golden fluid flows out from the back of the pelvis. So make a note of your end of range here. So just doing that again, so the pelvis tilts forward and the fluid spills out from the front of the pelvic basin. And then the pelvis rocks backwards and the fluid falls out from the back of the pelvis. Now between those two end range points you will find neutral. So finding neutral in this position, bringing the pelvis into this position, so the pelvic basin remains full with golden fluid, so none of your energy is spilling forward and none of your energy is spilling backwards. And you want to keep the pelvic basin in this position as you slowly begin to straighten the legs. And as you begin to straighten the legs, become aware, can you slightly feel a slight lower abdominal tension or tone, and perhaps even a very slight picking up of the pelvic floor. So you activate your core stability muscles quite naturally when you bring the pelvis into a neutral position. And throughout the sequence, those of you standing want to be aware that you're keeping your pelvic basin in this neutral position. So from the pelvic basin, we want to check that the spine naturally rises up through the pelvis. The shoulders are relaxed. The sternum or the breastbone lifts up to the sky. The fingertips are gently being drawn towards the earth, and the head rests on top of the spine perfectly. Just close the eyes here for a few moments and experience what it feels like to stand in perfect alignment. All the muscles and all the bones working in harmony with gravity. A few deep breaths here. So Ben is going to stand in mountain pose, and I'm now going to come and sit onto the chair. So when we find ourselves seated on a chair, ideally, we want to keep the back nice and straight. We might not be able to get the pelvis in the ideal position, but we do the best that we can. It's advisable that the feet are firmly planted on the earth and that they're parallel. But again, if you experience any discomfort in the joints, then by all means splay the feet away from each other. If you find that your chair is slightly too high and your feet can't quite touch the floor, then place a folded up blanket underneath, or a cushion or a pillow, something like that. So when we're seated, we're checking ankles, knees and hips are all aligned with each other, that the pelvis is as neutral as much as we can bring it to do so, depending on the type of chair that we have, and that the spine rises out from the pelvis naturally. The shoulders are relaxed, the sternum lifts, and we align the back of the head with the back of the body, placing the hands onto the knees or onto the thighs. Closing the eyes and beginning to connect with the breath, following the path of the inhale, the exhale. Noticing at the top of the breath that there's a moment where we naturally hold the breath. Noticing at the bottom of the breath that there is a moment where we naturally hold the breath. Becoming aware of these moments. We're not creating this retention. The retention is always there. All we're doing now is we're just becoming aware of it. Now becoming aware that within that retention, the moment when you feel your next breath in or out beginning to emerge. So closing the eyes again, withdraw within, and beginning to become aware of that moment. The moment within that natural pause at the top and at the bottom of the breath. When you feel your next wonderful breath in or out beginning to surface. throughout our exploration of Energy Block Release 1, staying connected to the breath. If at any point you find that you're getting a little bit confused when to move and when to breathe in or out, then please don't worry. The main thing is that you're just breathing and that you're feeling relaxed and comfortable within your beautiful body. And whilst we're talking about our beautiful body, please honour the needs of your body as we begin to explore the sequence, and make sure nothing causes you any discomfort. If you're unsure, can you have a look at episode number 2 of Yoga for Everyday People, where we talk briefly about the health disclaimer. So we're going to repeat each of the movements in the sequence 3 times, maybe a couple of more depending on what we're doing. So we want to begin to connect with the earth and activate the reflexology points on the soles of our feet. So we take a breath in, and as we breathe out, we gently transfer the weight forward, keeping the heels connected upon the earth. And on the next inhalation, we gently transfer the weight back, keeping the balls of the feet and the toes connected upon the earth. Breathing out, we come forward. And breathing in, we rock back. That's it, you're doing great. One more time. Breathing out, we rock forward. And breathing in, we rock back. Now we're going to create little spiral circles to the right. Breathing out, we come forward. And then on inhale, we take the weight to the right, transferring the weight onto the heels. And then when we're ready to breathe out, we take the weight to the left and we come forward. Fantastic. And we'll do 2 more in this direction. Inhaling, circling to the right, onto the heels, and exhaling, completing the circle to the left. 1 more round here. And now we're ready to do 3 the opposite way. So inhaling to the left, taking the weight onto the heels, and if you're seated, taking the weight back onto the buttocks towards the tailbone, and then exhale, coming forward. Wonderful. And 2 more here. And the final one. Now centrally aligning the body and just pausing to feel the effects so far. How these simple movements have affected you. Now placing the right hand beneath the navel, becoming aware of the left arm. Inhaling, circling the left arm up above the head. Exhale, drawing the hand down towards the ground. Inhale, lengthening, feel an opening to the rib cage on the left hand side. And then as we breathe out, extend laterally or to the side, to the right. That's it. Breathing in, coming back to a central position. Imagine you have a wheel between your hands, and as you breathe out, you turn the wheel, allowing the left hand to be beneath the navel and the right hand above the crown of the head. And then as we breathe in, we lengthen through the spine and we open up the right side of the rib cage. And then as we breathe out, we extend, stretch to the left. Inhaling, coming to a central position. And then as we breathe out, we turn the wheel again, allowing the arms to change position. Breathing in, lengthening the left hand to the sky. And then as we breathe out, extend to the right and hold. Feel the opening to the left of the body, the opening of the rib cage, that gentle stretching in the lung lobes. And have a sense that you're releasing depression, sadness, grief from the lungs with each breath in and each breath out. That's it. Breathing in, straightening the body. And then as we breathe out, we turn the wheel again. Inhale, reach the right hand to the sky. Exhale, stretch to the left and hold. And breathe into this stretch again. Feel the opening in the rib cage. The lung lobes to the right being stretched out. And feel the compression to the left kidney and adrenal gland, and have a sense that you're beginning to let go of fear with each breath in and each breath out. And we'll do that one more time to each side. Inhale, come to a central position. Exhale, turning the wheel. Breathing in, growing tall. And breathing out, stretching to the right and hold here. And each time you breathe in and out, feel the liver that's located on the right hand side gently being massaged. And we're letting go of anger and hatred with each breath in and each breath out. Inhaling, straightening up. And then as we breathe out, circling the arms, swapping them round. Left hand beneath the navel, right above the crown. Last round. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, extend to the left and hold for a few breaths. That's it, you're doing great. Doesn't this feel wonderful? Inhale, come to a central position, and then as we breathe out, the right hand comes down to meet the left. Pausing, checking the pelvis, checking the alignment of the body, inwardly smiling, feeling the life force flowing through you. Becoming aware now of both arms, and if you're standing, becoming aware of your feet as well. And as you breathe in, simultaneously circling the arms and coming onto the balls of the feet, palms face backwards, and then as we breathe out, we relax the elbows towards the shoulders. And then when we next breathe in, we reach up high, lengthening through the whole of the back, opening the chest, coming onto the toes if you're standing. And then as we breathe out, we relax the elbows down to shoulder level, placing the heels onto the floor. Repeating again, breathing in, lengthening through the whole of the body. And then as we breathe out, softening down. We're doing that one more time, breathing in, lengthening through the whole of the body, reaching up to the sky, shoulders are relaxed. Neck is free, enjoying the beautiful opening to the rib cage and to the lungs. Then backs of the hands towards each other, and then as we breathe out, lowering the arms down to shoulder level, placing the heels onto the floor. Creating the eagle gesture with the fists by allowing the fingertips to lightly touch the thumb. And then as we breathe in, drawing the hands into the shoulders, and on out breath, pushing the palms away, releasing something you need to let go of, a fear. Breathing in, drawing the hands in towards the shoulders, and as we breathe out, letting go of something that's holding us back. And we'll do that one more time. Breathing in, drawing the fists in, and breathing out, have a sense that you're letting go. Wonderful. Inhale, floating the arms up slightly. Exhale, relaxing them to the sides. And we're ready to explore shoulder glides. Breathing in, opening up your chest. Bring the shoulder blades towards the spine. Feel your heart opening up to endless possibilities. And then as we breathe out, rounding the arms, bringing the shoulders slightly forward, and now feel the back of the heart opening up, between the shoulder blades opening up. Breathing in, opening up the chest, shoulder blades to the spine, the front of the chest, the front of the heart. And then as we breathe out, reversing it. And we'll do that one more time. Inhaling, opening up. That's it. And then exhaling, opening up, but opening up the upper back. Breathing in, coming back to a central position and release. Becoming aware of the fingertips now, placing the fingertips on top of the shoulders. Then as we breathe in, push the elbows forward and skyward. And on an out breath, we take them round and back. And as they go back, we round the spine. We tuck the chin under. And if you're standing, you bend the knees. Look at bend. And then on an inhale, the elbows come forward, skyward. And we simultaneously uncurl and we come back up to a nice straight trunk. And then as we breathe out, we come down. We're flexing the spine, bending the knees if we're standing, chin towards the chest. And we'll do that again. Inhaling, coming up. And then exhaling, coming down one final time, rounding the back, spinal flexion. Back into extension, breathing in, coming up into extension. And then as we breathe out, relax the elbows where they are, but keep the fingertips on top of the shoulders. And now we're going to go the opposite way. So as we breathe in, we take the elbows back, up to the sky. And then on out breath, they come forward and we round again, coming down, spinal flexion. Inhaling, uncurling, coming up, a nice spinal wave. Taking the elbows up to the sky. And then exhaling, come down. If you're standing, observing Ben, look at how he bends the knees. So important. And then again, inhaling, uncurling, coming up. And then as we breathe out, we come down once again. Inhaling, uncurling, coming up. And then as we breathe out, releasing the arms, placing them by the sides of the body if you're standing, onto the thighs if you're seated. So now we're going to do some wonderful movements for the neck. Anyone who has a neck sensitivity, please do check it out with an expert if you should be doing these neck movements. Okay, so releasing the arms if you're seated to the sides of your chair. And we're just going to begin by breathing in, drawing the shoulders up to the ears. And then breathing out, pushing the shoulders down to the earth. Inhaling, lifting the shoulders up to the ears. And exhaling, releasing the shoulders to the earth. And we'll do that one more time. Breathing in, lifting them up. And breathing out, relaxing them down. Holding the shoulders in this position. The movements come from the neck. The upper body, the shoulders, do not move. So keeping the shoulders, so reaching your hands towards the earth so that the shoulders remain down. Take a breath in. And then as we breathe out, taking the chin towards the chest. Now by keeping the shoulders down, it will limit your range of motion, which is a good thing. Inhaling, raising the head up and looking up a little. Don't go back too far, there's no need to. Then breathing out, taking the chin towards the chest. And then inhaling, raising the head up and looking back a little. Exhaling, taking the chin towards the chest again. And then inhaling, raising the head up and looking back a little. And then when we next breathe out, bringing the head into a neutral position. Take a breath in. And this time as you breathe out, turn to the right. Inhale, come to a central position. And as you breathe out, turn to the left. That's it, you're doing great. Breathing in and breathing out, repeating to the right. Inhale and exhaling, repeating to the left. We'll do one more to each side. Breathing in and out. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, coming to a central position. This time as you breathe out, taking your right ear towards your right shoulder, but making sure you're not doing what I'm doing. The right shoulder has not come up to the ear. The right shoulder is staying down. Inhale, coming back up. And as you breathe out, repeat left ear towards left shoulder. And now 2 more to each side. Inhale and exhale. Inhaling, coming to a central position and relaxing. Pause for a few moments, feeling the effects so far. And now we want to explore a tri-spinal twist. So we want to widen our stance now, a little bit wider. And then shoulder width depending on your body. So notice Ben has changed his stance, and notice I've now changed my stance. So when you're seated, you won't be able to use the pelvis to help you twist, because the pelvis is secured to the chair. But when you're standing, all the movements for the twist begin at the pelvic area. So we're activating the lower spine first before rotating, twisting up to the neck area. So we're becoming aware of our arms. And as we breathe in, we float the arms up to shoulder level, checking the shoulders are relaxed, we're nice and straight, the pelvis is in neutral. And then for those of you standing, as you breathe out, your right hip goes to the right first. And then your middle back, upper back, and head follow. And we're all looking to the right here. Pause and hold for a few breaths, feeling the twist in the spine and how it's making us feel. Now we take another breath in. And then as we breathe out, we come back to the central position. Pause here. Reset the body. Take a breath in. And then if you're breathing, if you're standing, you breathe out and the left hip moves to the left. Then the lower back, the middle back, the upper back, and the head follow, and we're twisting to the left. And we take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, we reset the body. So for those of you standing, your next twist has footwork. So if you observe Ben, his right foot is taken to the right, and his left heel goes to the left, so that the toes of the left foot are pointing towards the right. The chest faces forward. So we all take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, Ben leads with his right hip, and we all flow round to the right. And we place our left hand on our right shoulder as we twist. Ben has come onto the ball of his left foot, and we hold here. Now the left elbow is high, the shoulders are relaxed. By raising the elbow up a little, the heart gets a nice, gentle workout. We take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, we come round to the central position, pausing here, resetting the body, and now Ben will change his base of support to the left. Then he realigns his chest to face the front of the room. And we all take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, Ben leads with his left hip, and we all begin to twist to the left. Ben comes onto the ball of his right foot, and we place our right hand on our left shoulder this time, making sure our shoulders are relaxed, and that we have the grace of a dancer. Nothing is locked, everything is soft, and we're easing into the shape whilst exploring strength at the same time. We take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, we come back to the central position once again, pausing here, resetting the body. The final twist to each side, very similar to what we've just done, but with a slight difference. So Ben is changing his base of support. We take a breath in, feel the lengthening through the spine. And then as we breathe out, Ben leads with his right hip, and we all begin to twist to the right. Left hand rests on the right shoulder, and the back of the right hand rests on the lower back. Pause here and use the exhale to help us twist a little bit more, checking the shoulders are relaxed and that the left elbow is at shoulder level, making sure we have the grace of a dancer. Taking a breath in again, and then as we breathe out, coming round to the front. Reset the body. Take a breath in. Change our base of support like Ben's doing. Take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, flowing round to the left. Ben comes onto the ball of his right foot. Right hand's on the left shoulder. Back of the left hand's on the lower back. And we hold here. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out, using the exhale to release into the twist, and the inhale to lengthen and grow tall. Shoulders are relaxed, right elbow is high. Take a breath in. And then as we breathe out, release the arms, flowing round to the start position. If we're seated, placing the hands onto the thighs. If we're standing, hands to the sides of the body. Ben's coming back into his mountain pose. Now we're going to explore spinal waves. And we did do some spinal waves in a previous episode. So checking that your pelvis is in neutral if you're standing. Relax your shoulders. So because I have a wonderful Buddha belly, beautiful Buddha belly, to fold forward I like to keep, when I'm seated, a gap between my legs. Even if you don't have a Buddha belly, you might appreciate to have some space and have a gap between your legs as well. So we're placing our hands onto the lower back, palms connecting with the pelvis. We take a breath in, we grow tall, shoulders are relaxed. And then if we want to, we introduce a little back bend, we extend back. And you can keep the chin towards the chest like Ben is, or you can take the head back a little like I am. And then as we breathe out, we fold or pivot from the hips if you're standing, coming down to the level of the navel. And then tucking the chin under on an inhale, we begin to uncurl, coming up vertebrae by vertebrae, back up to a straight trunk with the head resting on top. And then we can extend back a little, looking up if we wish to, or chin to chest. Ben keeps the chin to the chest. And then as we breathe out, we come down a little bit deeper this time. And then on an inhale, we uncurl, coming up vertebrae by vertebrae, feeling the segments of the spine working. And we gently begin to extend back again. Now notice Ben, how he keeps his knees nice and soft to help him fold forward on the exhale, going down a little bit deeper. Relaxing the head here. And then as we breathe in, uncurling, coming up. Straightening the trunk. Placing the head on top, extending back. And notice when Ben extends back, how he bends his knees as well. And now this time as we breathe out, we fold forward one more time. And the hands float down the legs, so that we're hanging like a rag doll. Really releasing into the forward bend. Relaxing the head, feeling the head, the neck, letting go. Feel the weight of the head helping to open up the back of the body. And remember in the episode where we explored spinal waves, if you have a back sensitivity, you can place your elbows like I am if you're seated, or Ben can place his elbows on his thighs to take the weight through the arms. Nice. There's no need to fold all the way forward if you're experiencing discomfort. Do make sure you take care. So if you're okay, you can just hang there. And in front of your feet, you can begin to visualize you have a half crescent moon, and that your arms are the weight of an elephant, and you begin to sway around that half crescent moon. Slowly, methodically, with awareness and intention. That's it. And then completing your sway, come back to a central position. And from this forward bend, we want to widen the stance a little bit more. And then we want to change our base of support. So our right foot goes to the right. If you're standing and you can't grab hold of the calf, you can place your hands on your thighs. Or even if you're seated, you can have the same base of support and place your hands on your thighs if that's desired. Or if you can touch the floor, you can come deep into a forward bend, depending on what feels right for you. And now we come round to face the front. And we pivot round to the left. So again, if you're standing, coming up, coming up if you're seated, to help you get the footwork into the right position, and then folding forward. And then pause and hold here for a few breaths. And then coming round to face the front. Again and again, notice when you sit, you come up a little bit to face the front, and then just hang here and enjoy the forward bend. Enjoy the weight of the head, opening you up, lengthening you. Feel the compression to the front of the body. So Ben's going to bring his feet in so that they're hip width apart in his forward bend. So he walks his feet in, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. That's it. So that they're hip width apart. And he's going to stay in the forward bend, and I'm just going to slowly uncurl, because those of us who are seated in a chair, we're going to do something a little different. So uncurling, those of you seated in a chair, just pause for a moment. Experience the sensations that you feel having uncurled. And then drawing the feet in so that they're hip width apart. Checking that you're comfortable on your chair. So Ben's going to come into a squat. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw our knees up to our chest. So Ben takes a breath in, and as he breathes out, he comes down into a squat. And those of us seated, place the hands behind the thigh, and then on an inhale, draw the right leg up to the belly. Take a breath out here. Then placing the right foot back down. Placing the left hand behind the thigh, take a breath in. And then as we breathe out, drawing the left leg up. And then placing it onto the floor, onto the earth. Ben's going to go back into his standing forward bend. So he takes a breath in and he straightens up, bottoms up to the sky, and exhale, hangs like a rag doll. Then Ben takes another breath in, and as he breathes out, he comes back down into a squat and he holds the second squat. And this time he might feel balanced, and on inhalation he can uncurl and raise his arms up to shoulder level. And those of us seated, we grab hold of our right leg, we take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, drawing the leg up. So we too experience a squat, and maybe we can grab hold of the shin bone here of the right leg, lengthen through the spine, rotate the ankles, whatever feels good for you. Connect with your body's wisdom and make the movements that you need to make. And then exhaling, coming down. So bend staying where it is, because we still have to do the left leg. We take a breath in, and then as we breathe out, we draw the left leg up, grabbing hold of the shin bone if we can, and we draw that leg up again. Some movements in the ankle would be lovely. And then placing the leg back down. Ben now places his hands to the floor, standing forward, Ben. Inhaling and exhaling to standing forward, Ben. And we're going to do one more squat. So Ben will do his version and we'll do our version for those of us seated in a chair. So taking a breath in, and then as we breathe out, exploring. Enjoying, savouring the movements, staying connected to the breath. And now Ben's going to go into his standing forward bend, so he takes a breath in, and as he breathes out, he comes to his standing forward bend. And those of us seated in a chair, we too are going to join Ben in a forward bend. So we too, we take a breath in, lengthening through the spine, and then as we breathe out, folding forward into a lovely forward bend. Enjoying this moment. This is the only moment that matters. And with each out breath, have a sense that we're letting go, surrendering to the mystery of the moment. And now we're going to experience movement in our back, in our segments. So we're going to slowly uncurl. Notice, so important, Ben has his knees bent when he's in the forward bend, and he's going to keep them that way as he uncurls. So when we next breathe in, we slowly, with great awareness and sensitivity, begin our ascent back into mountain pose. And when eventually we are in mountain pose, we probably feel like going, If you feel shy, sighing outside, then I'm sure you're naturally sighing somewhere deep within yourself. Closing your eyes, withdrawing within. Experiencing your body, your emotions, your thoughts. How do you feel now? Bringing the hands into the Anjali hand gesture, allowing the thumbs to lightly touch the sternum. Namaste. We look forward to seeing you at the next episode for Yoga for Everyday People, where we look at how do we sit for meditation. Thanking you.